So, welcome back, bike addicts. Today I'm going to be talking about XC Tyres and aggressive XC Tyres. Yeah, you do need different types of tyre in different terrains. You know, wet weather, dry weather, muddy conditions. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over basically the tyres that I have and the tyre combinations that I do. As you know, I have been testing out quite a few combinations. I was supposed to be out this morning on the bike testing out the WTB Trail Boss and the Breakout, but when I started putting the stuff in my car it started to rain, so that's been put on hold. But I already know what the Trail Boss tyres are like because I used to have them on my Incline Delta 13, so I can actually talk about them as well. So anyway, what I'm going to be going over is the different makes and the different styles of tyre, how good they are, what I'd rate them. So these aren't all the tyres, I will be showing you the other tyres as well because I do have quite a lot. So anyway, let's start off with just a couple what I've got on the stand here. So you've got the Maxxis Recon Race, the Maxxis Icon, the Maxxis Ardent, the Maxxis Forecaster and the Maxxis Aspen. So there are a few of my Maxxis tyres, and then I have Schwalby, that's the Rocket Ron, Schwalby Rocket Racing Ralph, Schwalby Racing Ray, this is the Vittoria Mezcal, and that's the Vittoria Barzo. So I do have quite a lot of Schwalby tyres as well, but I say these are my XC racing tyres, and I'm going to go through the combinations and what I think these tyres can be used in and what combinations I'll use. So let's start off with my Maxxis tyres. So I said this is the Recon Race. This tyre, dry conditions, hard packed ground, it'll work great on that. Loose ground, I had this on the rear in my test. It didn't do very well, to be honest. I wasn't very happy with it on the rear, but on the front, it was quite wet actually, but it did handle really well, so I was happy with that on the front. Like I say, out of the 10 I give that a 6. Next up we have the Maxxis Ardent. Now I've always liked the Maxxis Ardent, it's a really good tyre, hard pack, loose roots, tree roots, everything. It handles really well, rolls really nicely, but unfortunately this one is a heavier tyre, so it's not a lightweight, but say I do have it on my Orange Crush, so it's actually on the wheel, but we'll be changing that out and I'll show you what I'm changing it to a bit later. So I say that's a really good all-round tyre. I'll give that a 7. out of 10 because this one is a little bit heavy. It probably would have got a 7.5 if I would have got the lighter tyre, but it did handle. You know, I've been out on this like quite a lot of times on my orange, and it does handle really well. So like I say, I give that a 7 out of 10. And then we come to the Forecaster. Now, I really do like this tyre. I think it's a cracking tread pattern. It rolls pretty decent. It's not a fast rolling tyre, but on the front it absolutely handles great. You know, muddy-ish conditions, not overly muddy conditions like it was when I went out on it and tested it last week, but you know, the more softer conditions and stuff like that, it absolutely eats up. So that is my choice for a front tyre with the Maxxis. So rear tyres. Now I've got the Icon and the Aspen. Icon is a really good fast rolling tyre. I don't like this tyre on the front. For me it is rear only, and it's not a muddy tyre, it is a hard pack, more like dry forests and stuff like that. I wouldn't use it muddy, but that is a really good rolling tyre for the rear, and I would give that, so that one gets a 9 anyway, so I'll give this one I'll give that an 8 because it is a very decent tyre. So now we come on to my favourite rear tyre for the Maxxis range. This is the Aspen. I know people have put it on the front, and to be honest, I don't know whether I'd like it on the front or not. I bought this specifically to put on the rear, and to be honest, it absolutely ate everything up. It was absolutely brilliant. Very happy with it. Like I say, I do put it on par with the Racing Ralph. This I will give a 9 out of 10, just like the Forecaster. So the combination I would use is, like say, I did get advice off an XC racer, and he told me to try this combination out. So the Forecaster and the Aspen, that's actually my choice of tyre for basically all round conditions for XC racing. So that is my Maxxis range. So we're on to my Schwalby range. So let's start off with the fronts. For me, this is the Racing Ray. I love this on the front. Really good tyre. Actually, this is a 27.5. 29 is still on the Trek. That's how much I like that tyre. It runs absolutely brilliantly. Got quite a lot of grip on it. You got good side knobbles on it. Good inners, and then you got your centre, which are all spaced out like a Z. Good mud clearance on that as well. So anyway, this is a really good hard pack tyre. Not great in wet muddy conditions. That's why you go for something like that. But anyway, this I will give an 8 out of 10 for that tyre. I really do like that tyre. It's a really good rolling tyre. Like I say, hard pack conditions, XC racing, it's very lightweight. Brilliant, all, you know, brilliant for what I need it for. and I know quite a lot of XC riders who use it as well. So next up, a bit more aggressive, a bit more for damp conditions, routes, travelling through, single pack, like single tracker racing and stuff like that. Great rolling tyre. Some people put it on the rear. I prefer to have it on the front. This is actually my new one because my old one I've actually worn out, so I had to get myself a new one. And this, depending on what conditions it is, if it's, you know, damp, raining or whatever, and which bike I'm taking out. Normally, you know, like I say, I've got my 29er tyre. This is 27.5. So my 29 is on my Trek, and that's off my Trek because that's what I prefer to use on my Trek. But anyway, this Rocket Ron, really good tyre for more aggressive riding, hard pack, stroke, gravel, loose stuff. So that's a really good tyre for that. So basically, what I'm going to do now, this is it's a bit of a weird one, because what I'm going to show you is these tyres in a second. Now this is what I call dual purpose. So anyway, let's get on to that. I would give a 7 out of 10 for that tyre. It is pretty good, so give it a 7. So one of my favourite tyres of all time, and I love using this. I've just bought a new one for my orange, so that's going to be going on my orange instead of the Ardents, and that's going back onto my orange as well. So, and I've got a 27.5 in that for on the orange as well. So, but like I say, depending on the conditions, depending on the weather, that's what I'll use. So like I say, this is the Racing Ralph, one of my all-time favourite tyres. I've not really found anything better than this for the rear until, like I say, the Aspen came along, and I've been using that on the rear. But like I say, I do like this one much better than the Aspen. It is a little bit narrower than the Aspen as well, and it rolls absolutely fantastic. It is such a fast tyre, this. You know, depending whether you got it tubeless or not. Tubeless, I'd put like a little bit more air pressure in than £20. Put up to like 25, 26 in it, and this tyre will roll absolutely brilliantly. Hard pack, every type of condition. I love this tyre. So this one I will give I give the Aspen a 9, and the Forecaster a 9. But what I'll do, I'll give this a 9.5 because, like I say, it is one of my favourite tyres of all time. So let's get on to these. So front and rear, you can use these tyres front and rear. Yes, I know I've got the Johnny Watts 365, and I'm going to say something to Schwalby in a bit, and hopefully they'll like what I say. But anyway, this is the Wicked Will. I rate this tyre very, very highly. This is a 2.6, so it's not very good for on my XC bikes because it is a little bit heavier. This is more e-bike specific, this tyre, for like my high bike and stuff like that. It's got like 2.6 wide, That's only a 210, that's a 2.25, that's a 220, I think it is. But anyway, this is 2.6. You can get them in a 2.4, but Schwalby, you need to make these in the 27.5 be 2.8, because then I'll be buying them for both my Mondraker Crafty and my high bike Hard 7 8.0, because I think this is probably one of the best tyres that they've ever made, and this is definitely an all-rounder. Okay, you probably couldn't use it doing downhill racing, but it wouldn't surprise me if you could get away with using it for downhill racing, because this tyre is the perfect tyre. This, you know, rolls absolutely fantastic. You know, when I took it out, I was, you know, riding around on this tyre, and it just felt so good. I didn't feel any unbalance whatsoever. You know, I felt like it was just going to grip forever. So this tyre, and I don't normally do this one gets a 10, because it's an all-round badass tyre. This, yes, it is, you know, like I say, this is a 2.6. You can get in a 2.4, which is not going to be much narrower than this. So, but like I say, if they've done this in a 29, 2.25, I think this would be an absolutely brilliant tyre for XC racing, front and rear. You know, brilliant tyre. So on to the Smart Sam. Now you're thinking, well, that's not really an XC tyre. I know it's not, but this is good for forests and stuff like that, single track. Like I done the Monsell Trail on this with this tyre. This is another 2.6. I did have this on my high bike, and I have gone back to using my knobby nicks on the high bike, because I do prefer them, to be honest. So, like I say, it is a pretty decent tyre. It's not, you know, as good as the others, so I'm going to give this one out of 10 a 6. So, right, let me take this off here and take this off here, because I want this one here, so you can see this better. What I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom a little bit. Now this is the Johnny Watts 365. Schwalby, please make this tyre tread, the tyre itself, 29 by a, what's this one? Is this can't remember what size this one is. What size is this Johnny Watts? It is, where are we? That's a 2.35, that. So that's a 2.35. I know it looks a little bit wider, like, but it says what's his name when you do that. Put it on the tyre, it does go around. You've done that in a 2.2. Make it lighter, Schwalby. Make that tyre in a 2.2. Make the carcass lighter, because it is a very heavy tyre, that, you know, it does weigh quite a lot. And if you made that a lighter tyre in a 2.2, I think XC racers will jump on that, because that rolls, I'm going to say, down here as good as my Racing Ralph. That is one hell of a all-round tyre. You can use that, like I say, I went out using it, muddy conditions and everything. It was absolutely fantastic. But the only problem is, it is too heavy. So Schwalby, make that. I know it's supposed to be an urban tyre and what have you, but that tread pattern is absolutely brilliant for racing on. You know, you've got your smooth tread pattern down the middle, you've got your knobs on the inners, and then you've got your other knobs on the outside for your grip. To me, if that was a, what's his name, if that was a lighter tyre, I'm going to give it an 8 because it is a really good tyre. And if that was a lighter tyre, I'd give it an 8, at least an 8.5 if it was a lighter, because that is one fantastic tyre, front and rear. So come on Schwalby, listen to what your customers want, make that tyre into a lighter tyre, and I tell you what, it'd be absolutely fantastic. The tread pattern on it's great, and I'm very happy with that tyre if it was lighter. But anyway, still a cracking tyre. So anyway guys, that is my Schwalby range. So let's zoom back out so you can see. So Racing Ray, Rocket Ron, Racing Ralph, Wicked Will, Johnny Watts 365 and your Smart Sam. Yes, I do have a lot more Schwalby tyres, but they are like the Nobby Nicks, hands down. Magic Murray's, and I'm not really doing bike park stuff. These are my XC and trail tyres, what I'm doing, Enduro-ish. So anyway, they're my Schwalby tyres. So these are my Vittoria tyres. Now Vittoria, I hadn't really rated or anything like that, to be honest. And then I was watching GMBN and they're actually sponsored by them, and they were saying about a couple of the tyres what they have. So I bought a couple, and they are quite expensive actually. But anyway, I'll get down to the nitty gritty in a minute. So let's see what we've got. So we've got the Sierra, the Barzo, and the Mezcal. You're probably thinking, oh, that doesn't look like the Mezcal, but that's actually the Mezcal F, which is a faster rolling one. So I like fast rolling tyres. So anyway, let's get down to front. So basically I can't really comment on these and give them marks out of 10, but I have watched quite a few reviews on this. People say it's a really good front tyre, not really a rear tyre. I have bought 2 of these because I was going to put them on front and rear and test them out, see what they were like, see which I preferred on the front and back. So I will be doing a review on them tyres, and also that's the Barzo and that's the Mezcal. These tyres were actually on the bike of the XC Champion. He was actually using these, and this is one of the reasons why I've purchased these, because apparently they're supposed to be a fantastic tyre, really good combination. So I bought them to try out, and if they are any good, they will be going on. I don't think I'm going to put them on my track because I like having my what's his names, me Racing Ralph and me Racing Ray on them, and I like to stick to the same brand on the bike. But I'll probably put these maybe on the Norco, test them out on the Norco, see what they're like on there. So, like I say, these are a very popular tyre. They were in, you know, the guy who won the XC Championships, I think it was it last year, he actually used these tyres. Well, not that tread pattern, but this is the cross country F, but the other one's like a zigzag up, but still a mezcal. So, and it's the tread pattern what I wanted because it's a fast rolling tyre and it's cross country tyre. So these are my 3 different Vittoria tyres. Can't give them marks out of 10 yet because I've not tested them out. So as soon as I get them tested out, I will let you know. So we're on to my WTB tyres. So this is the front, that's the rear, but you can use this as a rear as well. So this is the WTB Ranger. It has got quite a good widespread tread pattern. It's great on the flat grounds, hard pack. I wouldn't use it for muddy conditions or anything like that. Yeah, it's like this is one of my older tyres. The tread has worn down quite a bit on these. Like I say, I don't record every bike video, well, bike ride I do. Depends on where I'm going and that. But anyway, that's the Ranger. I will give that a 7 out of 10 for performance on that. You know, it's not the lightest of tyres, runs tubeless as well. Like, I think basically every tyre I've showed you is a tubeless tyre. So anyway, on to this, which is the Breakout. Now this is the tyre I was supposed to be testing out today with the Trail Boss. I really wanted to have a good test ride on this, see how good it was. But like I say, this morning I got up, it was a very overcast, grey clouds over the top, and then as I started putting the stuff into my car, I started feeling rain, so that wasn't good. But the sun's actually come out now, so what? That's a little bit. What time is it now? It is now 25 past 11. Maybe I could get out, I don't know. But anyway, this is the Breakout. Very aggressive tyre. Like I say, you can use that on the rear as well. A lot of enduro riders like this on the rear. But like I say, I bought this tyre specifically for the front because I wanted to try it out as a front tyre. It doesn't roll as good as, you know, for a what's his name, for a rear. But like I say, I can't mark it out of 10 because I've not tried it yet. So just like the Vittoria ones, I need to get them out and tested. So love the tread pattern on that as well, and I reckon that'll do really well in muddy routes, everything. So can't wait to try it out. And then we have the Trail Boss. Now the Trail Boss is a really good tyre. I say I had this on my 13 Incline Delta. That was a pretty decent bike, but it was 27.5. This is a 29, so I know how good these roll. These are kind of like the old style Racing Ralphs, that roll as good as the old style Racing Ralphs. And like I say, love this tyre. on this tyre, you know, it's good for all conditions, gravel, soggy, wet ground, tree roots, everything. But I had this on front and rear on my old bike, but to be honest, I prefer it as a rear because it rolls absolutely brilliantly. So I'll give this an 8.5 out of 10 because it's just an all-out fantastic tyre. So basically, I have got a lot of other tyres, but I'm not really going to review them. I have got this is what came on my Specialized. This is the Fast Track Sport. Good front tyre, not so keen on the rear. You know, it did roll quite well, but you know, it's just a basic tyre they put on the bikes because they're cheap. Or in a Specialized case, they must be expensive as hell because the bikes have gone up that bloody much. So anyway, that's the Fast Track. I have got the XR2s. I've got the Knobby Nicks. I've got Hans Dampf, Magic Mary, Maxis Minions, which I had put on my Mondraker when I first bought it instead of the Chronicles, because I didn't want that tyre on my bike, to be honest. It's a big 3.0. It was kind of like this, but it was like that wide. You know, it was way too wide for that bike, and it just made the bike look a bit ridiculous. So before I went to pick it up, I told them to put the Maxis Minions on, which they did, and to be honest, that was a really good choice because they are unbelievably good tyre. Them I would give probably 8.5 for them. So I've got the Hans Dampf and the Magic Mary on the Mondraker now. That tyre combination, I'm just going to give it a straight out 10 because I love that combination on the bike. So anyway guys, that's, well, not all my tyres because I've got some others as well. I've got the Continental Double Fighters, but they're not an XC tyre, they're a gravel tyre. Well, so I won't be going through gravel tyres because I've only got a couple, but this is my XC tyre collection. Yes, I have got too many, and after all this, I now need to start folding them all up and putting them in the box that they came out of. So that's probably going to take me at least an hour to do because I actually took quite a lot of them out, so but never mind. So guys, that's a range of tyres for XC bikes, riding on like gravel paths and stuff like that, single track. So I'm not quite sure which you would like, but I hope I hope I gave you a good insight in what tyres are available. Yes, I know there's a lot more available, but I probably spent, oh god, well over £1,000 on these tyres. So Oh, crazy. But it's what I like doing. I like getting out on the bike. I like riding, even though, you know, I have had some major accidents. But like I say, it's what I love doing. It's my passion, along with skateboarding. You can see my skateboard's there, and then my RC cars there, and drones. So, but yes, like I say, it is my greatest passion, being out on the bikes. You know, if I could basically quit my job and just go riding every day, I would, but after spending all this money, I can't. So anyway, I've got businesses to run. So anyway guys, hope you like the video. Hope now you've got some type of thought of what tyres to get now, what tyres you'd like, you know, what tyres I use. So anyway, I'm going to cut it there. Hopefully I might get a day off in the week, see if I can get a day off in the week if it's nice, and get out on the bike, test these 2 tyres out. Well, test that out because I already know what that one's like. Test that tyre out and see how good it is. So if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, go ahead, hit it, helps my channel. The more subscribers I get, the more videos I can get out. So keep watching, get out on them bikes, and I will see you all soon.